Hey everyone, welcome back to Behind the Breaks. I'm your host, Alyx Efron, founder of Collectors MD, and today we're diving into one of the most pivotal and frankly concerning shifts we've ever seen in the hobby, the start of the Fanatics era. For years, collectors have speculated about what the hobby would look like when Fanatics finally took full control, when they no longer just be an up-and-coming disruptor, but the sole gatekeeper of the three biggest sports licenses in America: MLB, NBA, and NFL. Well, that day is finally here. With Panini releasing their final licensed NBA product, Prism Black, and Fanatics announcing the first officially licensed Topps NBA line, the hobby has entered a new chapter. Some are calling it a fresh start, others are calling it the beginning of a monopoly. Either way, there's no denying it. Everything is about to change. Now, before we talk about the business side, let's unpack the designs. Fanatics and Topps have decided to carry over the look and feel of their baseball flagship lines into basketball. Sets like Series 1, Series 2, Update, Chrome, etc. On one hand, it's a familiar aesthetic. It's clean, it's recognizable, it's consistent. But on the other hand, it feels kind of safe, predictable even, maybe a little uninspired. Instead of carving out something fresh and unique for basketball collectors, they've chosen to fold the NBA right into their existing blueprint. And that's the first real clue to what this era might represent: consolidation over creativity. But this conversation goes way deeper than logos or layouts, because Fanatics isn't just designing cards, they're designing behavior. Let's talk about Fanatics Live for a moment, their in-house breaking platform. This isn't your local card shop or some independent breaker on Instagram. This is the same conglomerate that manufactures the cards, now selling them directly to you through a platform engineered with casino-like incentives. I'm talking about those promotional emails you're seeing that say, spend $5,000, get $500 in rewards, or we've missed you, here's $50 to come rip again. That's not a loyalty program. That's straight up behavioral conditioning. No different than a casino offering you free chips after a losing streak, or that same type of promotional email offering you a free play or a free bet. It's the same psychological tactic that get you back to the table before you have a chance to step away. And when that same company also controls the licenses, the products, and the marketplace, you have something very dangerous: a casino without a license using nostalgia as a prop. So let's call it what it is. Fanatics has created a system that looks, feels, and operates just like gambling, just without the regulations, the safeguards, or the accountability that should come with it. And here's the part that's most unsettling. They're doing it with childhood items targeted directly to children. Trading cards, products that were once made for kids, for families, and for shared joy. Now they're being repurposed and repackaged as investment tools, marketed with casino-style mechanics and pushed to collectors with credit cards as opposed to allowance money. We've reached a point where ripping packs has less in common with actual collecting and more in common with spinning a roulette wheel. And yet, there's no oversight, there's no spending limits, there's no transparency around odds, there's no self-exclusion tools, and there's nothing to protect the average collector from the exact mechanics that would require a gambling license in any other industry. That's the problem, because monopoly power without guardrails isn't just risky, it's predatory. When one company holds all the major licenses, they don't just control the products, they control the culture. They decide what's printed, how it's sold, how it's marketed, and even how we're meant to feel about it. And without competition to push back or innovate, the hobby risks becoming less about passion and more about profit extraction. Panini, for all their flaws, at least existed in tension with Topps. That tension created variety, competition, and a kind of creative accountability. Fanatics doesn't have that. They are the ecosystem. When the same entity that designs the cards also runs the breaks and the e-commerce, the lines between manufacturer, marketplace, and casino blur completely. So here's the question: who's protecting the collector? If Fanatics is going to be the face of the modern hobby, the brand that parents, kids, and lifelong collectors engage with, they have to be held to a higher standard. There must be transparency around odds, spending and deposit limits, optional self-exclusion tools, independent oversight for things like repacks, mystery boxes, and chase products. Because without these safeguards, we're not just watching a business evolve, we're watching the hobby drift into something completely unrecognizable. At Collectors MD, we talk a lot about guardrails, structures that keep collecting safe, sustainable, and meaningful. Those guardrails are missing right now. And it's not because they can't exist, it's because no one has demanded them loudly enough. And that's where we as collectors, as a community, need to come in. We have to start asking the harder questions. Why are casino style promotions being used on platforms accessible to teenagers and children? Why are there no warning signs or responsible collecting disclaimers like there are in the gambling industry? Why is there no cap on spending when credit cards are being tied to these accounts? If Fanatics wants to own the entire hobby, that's fine. Ownership must come with responsibility. You can't run a casino and market it as a childhood pastime. You can't build a monopoly and pretend that it's still a community. And you can't profit from compulsion and call it culture. The hobby deserves better than that. This isn't anti-hobby and this isn't anti-Fanatics. This is pro-accountability. If they're going to lead the future of the hobby, they need to lead with integrity, not manipulation. Because here's the thing. The average collector isn't asking for the world. We just want a little bit of fairness. We want transparency. We want to be treated like people, not data points. Fanatics has an opportunity to do this right, to be remembered not as the company that turned the hobby into a casino, but as the one that reimagined it responsibly. But that starts with admitting what this really is and addressing it head on. So yes, the Fanatics era has officially begun. But if this is the future, then it's on all of us, collectors, creators, and platforms alike, to demand that the future be ethical, transparent, and sustainable. Because without these principles, this isn't collecting anymore. It's consumption. And when you strip away the nostalgia, the design, and the hype, what's left isn't a hobby at all. It's a business model built on human behavior. And that's the danger. So as we move deeper into this new era, I'll leave you with this. If Fanatics controls the hobby, then Fanatics must also protect it. Otherwise, they're not building the future of collecting, they're building the biggest casino the hobby has ever seen. Thank you for tuning in to Behind the Breaks. If this resonated with you, make sure to subscribe to Collectors MD on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and all major streaming platforms. You'll also find more episodes of Behind the Breaks, the Collectors Compass, and Collectors MD features, all created to keep these types of conversations alive. And as always, you're welcome to join our weekly peer support meetings or connect with our group chat and Discord community, links in the description below. Until next time, take care of yourselves and remember, collect with intention, not compulsion.